Welcome to This On, Season 8, Episode 39. We watch Crime Scene Kitchen, Season 3, Episode 1. And I feel like a can of biscuits. I'm Chris Lorenz.
She's the Beyonce of cakes. This is Brian.
I have never seen rhubarb. This is Noah Singer.
Those are all quotes from this week's show. But last week we watched Outrageous Pumpkins on Food Network /Max. We had a poll up on X. And you guys had a tie between top and bottom third show. So there you have it. I guess that's a middle. I don't know. Tell us what you thought about this week's show on Twitter /X. And Noah, what was that show?
Oh, yeah. Each episode of this cooking competition, hosted by Joel McHale, begins at the scene of the crime, a kitchen that was just used to make an amazing, mouth-watering dessert that has since disappeared. The chef teams of two are challenged to scour the kitchen for clues and ingredients to figure out what has baked. Next, each team must duplicate the recipe based on their guess from celebrity judges Chef Curtis Stone and cake artist Yolanda Gamp to take the $100,000 prize. The competing dessert makers will need to prove they have the technical know-how, imagination, and problem-solving skills needed to decode and recreate incredible desserts and cakes from across the world. That is Crime Scene Kitchen on Fox.
That is a hell of a description.
Oh, yeah.
I liked it.
A lot of description.
So, what was first? The Quibi version of this? Or like this show?
Let's see.
I don't even know how to spell Quibi anymore.
Yeah, you talk.
What? It's Quibi. Come on.
Oh, there's an I put Y in.
Oh, really? I mean, there's no reference of Quibi on the Wikipedia for the page, so I'm gonna say
like there was that show though, right? We did it.
There was a show where they had food splattered out of a cannon.
Yeah.
And it was like onto them, right? And then they had to like lick their food remnants and guess what it was.
And then figure out what it was.
Yeah. So like, they'd put
it was
like a
called
lasagna.
It's called Dismantled. That was the name of the show.
Very solid show.
But what do you think is better? This show or that show?
This show I felt had less negative, visceral reaction from people. Like whenever you showed someone Dismantle, they're like gross, and it was like all focused on the like gross factor.
Okay, the verdict is in. Crime Scene Kitchen started in 2021, and Dismantled was 2020. So, not that it matters. I don't know why. I just spent the last 2 minutes looking that up. But I looked it up for you guys, and I probably should have done that before we started the podcast. Anyway, so... this show is, a bunch of people cooking things, and, it's a cooking show. I don't think the crime scene part is kind of fun. So... they have a challenge where there's a crime scene, and they have 2 minutes to go over the crime scene, and they have to figure out what was made in this crime scene, in like this kitchen, and then they have to make said thing by themselves, and they do it twice, and that's it. That's the episode. There's some nuance to each version of whatever, but like they do it twice, and then the show's over. And would you disagree with me, Noah?
No. Like just like that's kind of what they do. Yeah. It's a pretty solid format, and like I must say, like I think they're on season 3 or 4. I was surprised. I was like, I feel like I was so unaware of this show, and yet this seems like a keeper.
I am impressed with the LOP of the show, the level of play. Like, I like most people know how to bake. Like, they're like, I'm gonna bake this, and they just do it. Like we don't
Mm.
see them like agonizing over like how much butter do I put in this, how much butter, like they just go and make it. And it's like, the cook comes in with their review of like, oh, this was dry or whatever. But there, we see no real process of them making any of the dishes. So I have
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
I,
assume, I have to
it's
assume they know how to make all these things.
yeah. They seem to be quite talented cooks, bakers, chefs, whatever you want to call them. Like they're not thinking about the execution, like it's all about what do we have to do, and then the execution's kind of like a second thought because they all seem quite talented.
Yeah, I mean, they also like. There's this second. There's like a first skill though. There's the. Did you figure out what they made in the test in the kitchen? And like,
Mm.
if you nail that, you pretty much get a pass. At least it seems in this episode. They're like probably the beginning of any season, right? So
Yeah,
you don't necessarily have to make it well at that point. You just have to make the right one.
that's true. Well, it's kind of interesting. Like, yeah, like the one of I think it's like a generally decent show, but like one of the things I found really nipple wrenching, I think is the right term for this, um,
What?
is nipple wrenching. I think is the
You
right term.
can't see my face, but it's a
He's
very questionable face right now.
oh, well. Let's see if you agree. Is the judge's feedback for every single dish was, well, if you made the right dish, you'll win this challenge. And it was like they basically didn't have any other feedback most of the time. It was just like, wow, you made something that's sweet. Well, if this is the right dish, you'll move on. It's just like,
That's true. We don't know how well they made anything.
no, the judges were so bad.
Well,
But just to rewind a tape, would you call that nipple wrenching?
what?
Uh,
No, I don't.
are you trying to give me a titty twister right now? Like,
I
what
was
is
trying to
going
think
on?
of some descriptive language to like describe the feeling, and I didn't have the
And
better
you think
vocabulary.
that it bothers my nipples that
Yes,
the
yes,
hosts aren't descriptive about the the contestants' baked goods?
that's right. Like my own nipples were fine, but I was more thinking about the condition of
Well,
your nipples
you're
during
asking
this
you.
show.
So you claimed that your nipples hurt from this already. Like you've already brought your nipples into this, and we've moved past that. You can't
Well,
say your nipples didn't feel anything because you just said they did.
I said it was nipple wrenching. I didn't say whose nipples were being
Yeah,
wrenched.
the
Uh,
no. You know how English works. That's not. That's not. Let's not smooth past
Oh,
this. And like we watch cooking shows, and if you're a constant listener, I don't really like cooking shows, so
no,
it didn't
not
bother me one iota of any bit that these people, uh, gave very short descriptions of everything and non-descriptions. It was fine,
oh, it
yeah.
was so bad.
especially
Well,
since like the people that got kicked off or like won or whatever, they it wasn't about how good it was. It was about how well they deduced in the kitchen,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I found refreshing because I like there's a thing in the show where like they show you all the clues of the crime scene kitchen so you could figure out what the dish is and then or have a good guess and then you could follow along with your whatever the contestants made and you think, oh, it's got to be a lemon bar. No, I think it's a chocolate cake. No, I think it's cheese on the moon. I don't know.
He's
And
on the moon. man, man.
so I mean, I see like the appeal of the show is not to like it's not Top Chef or like who made the most satisfying dish here. It's like literally like a tiebreaker to get people out of the show.
Yeah,
How all your
that
dish
is
was.
that is a good contrast. Like Top Chef, they are picking at the most minute detail that they can try to find in the dish, right? Like they go to so much extreme to try to find some differentiating factor between dish one and dish two, whatever, because they're all incredible chefs. Where here it's like the complete opposite. They're like, something came out of
Oh,
the oven. Did you get it right?
I disagree. I think that this level of chef is better for me
Hmm.
than like the Top Chef chefs. Like it's just too much. Like they're making foie gras on, I don't know, on deer eye, and I'm just like, I don't know what that would taste like, and
Hmm.
I like don't appreciate the show in any way. It's like if they were like, I made a great New York pizza, I'd be like, oh, that sounds great. But like with the food they make there, I'm just like, I don't care what it tastes like
Hmm.
because I'm not a super fine dining person. Like,
You're not. I
no,
don't know. You like food. You eat food.
I
Yeah,
mean, I'm
but
a
not
big
fine
guy.
dining.
I'm a big guy.
But no, but not like that. But like, I don't know. Like
But like,
you
I'll
go
go
you
to
go out of your way to get some good stuff. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I'll go to a good steakhouse, right? Like that.
yeah.
That's like expensive, but I'm not going to like the Top Chef one bite meals.
Oh, that's the best.
Not, I
No,
disagree.
no, that you're not filled up at all, and you spent like $500 on this dinner.
All right. Let's get back to the show.
Uh,
Let's
yeah,
talk about the host. Our
House.
host is good old Joel McHale, from the Villain House or some sort of villain show. He's also a host of. I have to say that he was way better in the Villain show than he was in this show. The writing on the show was terrible. Every joke he had was flat. He was bad.
okay. He is very typecast though. He has a shtick, and everywhere he goes, he has that same shtick. It works so much better for House of Villains because he kind of is a villain, and he's always acted like that asshole. But in this show, it's just roasting people, making a cake.
Yeah, like he's just known for being like the high school cool kid. He's not really a bully, but like he's kind of like making fun of you, but smiling at the same time. Like, come here, buddy, and like giving you like a noogie on the head kind of character.
Exactly, his community character is his real life persona.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, okay, so comparing hosts here reminds me of Is It Cake? And that host there apparently gets a lot of love
Mikey
because she's
Day.
funny.
Mikey
I
Day.
don't
Well,
know who it is.
you're yeah. So Mikey Day hosted Is a Cake. I think you're talking about
No, the comedian. The black.
yeah, you're talking about the other show that you don't like on Netflix.
Oh, not Is It Cake? You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It's
It's
Nailed It.
Nailed It. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm thinking of Nailed It. You're right.
yeah. So that's Nicole Byer.
Yeah. And like Nicole Byer, for what I hate that show for many, many reasons. Go listen to that episode. But she was funny. in
She's
that
very
episode.
funny. Yeah, she's
Joel
smart.
McHale, not funny in this. And it's very similar, like you'd make fun of. Or like I feel like you can't lean in as hard as you can in that show, but like he could. Like he's the host. It depends on the like vibe of the show.
I see what you're saying. Like, I wonder if that's like an episode one thing, right? Where even the Nailed It, right? I think it's 3 teams, and
Yeah.
The teams don't advance, if I recall correctly, from Nailed It. Like, it's just episodic, right? So one and another one. Whereas this show, right? It's the elimination, and so Joel will get to know them, and so I wonder if it's a bit intentional that he's not like bringing out everything in episode 1 because he has many more dates with these people, right?
I don't know. I mean, it could be a factor of episode 1. We watch a lot of episode 1, so
Yeah.
but he
I
could
disagree.
they could be funnier. Like you got to pull out the good jokes first. You always have time to think of new jokes between episodes. But
Yeah,
you got to bring your best
Hmm.
foot forward.
this is a show that wouldn't I don't feel would have that like first episode mentality, especially since they've already split up the contestants in half. They're already like, we're trying to regulate this, and yeah, it doesn't have that same like ball of like too many people or just like, hey, like we're nervous, we're getting to know one another, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say like I do wonder if it's a factor of the writing or if it's like Joel McHale, like I don't know if phoning it in is the right word. He doesn't seem like a guy that phones things in. Um like but he did make a joke. He's like, I'm here because of my contract. Like you do wonder, like maybe that's real.
How real is that? It seemed pretty real.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the actual show. So the show is you win $100,000 if you're the number one team. Teams of two go into this like crime scene kitchen. They have 2 minutes to look for shit, which is the
Mm.
best part of the show, right? Like the first kitchen was the first challenge. They called it, what do they call it? A safety bake. So
Yeah.
if you're the top one, you automatically move on to the next week. The
Mm.
rest have to do another crime scene kitchen. And this one was kind of fun. They had like really, they had like recipe cards that had like recipes on them. So you use that to look for clues around the kitchen. And then there was surprise extra cards in the apron in the kitchen, which I thought was a good touch personally. And you had to like, overall at the end of the episode, you found out that they had, or not the end of the challenge, you find out that from the recipe cards, there was only one recipe with the ingredients that was available. And of course, it was in the apron, but like,
Mm.
I liked how there was a definitive answer.
It was
Yeah, and
nice. Yeah.
they were very clear about it too. Like there was no like there was no like, oh, like it could have been this or that. It's just I really like that they called out like the frozen versus fresh part. Those little details matter to me.
It's true. There was like blueberries that had to be
Mhm.
fresh, but there were frozen blueberries.
Yeah. But also like one thing I found kind of interesting, I assume if you're a contestant on the show, especially when it's 2 seasons before this, you're watching, right? And you're studying. You're preparing.
I
How
think
do
that this show is
you
like Taskmaster. You can't prepare.
Oh, I mean, I didn't
I
watch it, but I was
assume
like, "Oh gosh," you know?
I have to assume that they can't do this gimmick every week where they have like the recipe cards and it has to be like on the recipe card. Because no one in this episode did that. Not everyone did that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right? Am I wrong that like not everyone picked from one of the four things and made one of those? Some of them went like off
That's
the rails and made
true.
like cookies.
Yeah, that's true. Like, they weren't sure if that was, like, a distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if that was
Hmm.
if that's what they do every week, which we
Right.
don't know, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
if
no, you're probably right. Then, yeah, they would have paid a lot more attention. You gotta be right.
yeah, it
Yeah.
would be like they'd be hunting around for these cards. Like you
Right.
wouldn't not look in the apron
Right. No,
because like the only thing you're looking for is ingredients in these cards, right? And they
right,
were
you're
Yeah,
right
looking
out in front of them. Like you got to assume that those aren't there's going to be extra or something. I don't know. Who
I
knows?
do think somebody else called out the apron thing. They just didn't find it.
Yeah. Well, somebody said they didn't look in the apron, so I guess like they're. I don't know. Maybe they always look for cards. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the show changes all that much either way.
Hmm. But yeah, we just don't. There's a lot that's unclear, right? Of like how much does this all change as they keep going along? We just know that there's some kind of crime scene, and they got to recreate it. You know,
Well, they
like
have to like
yeah.
they look in the fridge and the freezer, and they found like blueberries, and they found like pumpkin pie in a filling in a container, and they
Mhm.
found like eggs in the trash, and they found like these are the things that they're finding, and like I do find it compelling to like try to pick what the dish was.
Yep. Hmm. Yeah, my guess is it's probably maybe it's like episodes go on, they're not giving out these cards, right? Like
Yeah,
they're
I
just
don't know. I don't know. I
we'll have to watch it, but or maybe we can pop on a couple minutes of it. But yeah, I don't think they're using them all the time
yeah.
because then it's just a hunt for the other secret cards.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe they're always hidden and you have to find them,
Hmm.
and sometimes there's two. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think
And
it
I'll
really
take little
matters.
chance if I
Again,
want to.
I don't think it really matters either way if there's cards or not. Because I think it's equally compelling if there's cards, and if there's no cards, it's compelling. So it could be just like a change up they do every once in a while, you know?
Yeah.
Because the second one didn't have the cards, and the
Mm,
second,
right, that's
so the
true.
first one was
Mm,
like a lemon
mm.
raspberry cake, or not cake, like what do they call it? It wasn't a
Um,
cake.
the bun cake,
No, not that one. That
It's
was
like
not a
lemon raspberry
lemon
bars.
the lemon raspberry. Yeah,
bars.
raspberry bars. That was the first one. The raspberry bars, wasn't it? Am I mixing it up?
I'm talking
Raspberry
about
bars.
the first one.
Oh yeah. Whoa. Raspberry bars.
The lemon berry bars,
Whoa.
raspberry bars, was one of them. And then the second one was like some sort of bun cake with peaches.
Hmm.
And they had like bourbon and they had to like figure it out. I honestly, the second one's more impressive than the first one, because the first one you just had to find the card, the right card. But I get it's hard to tell because you have 2 minutes. Is that too long or too little or just right
2 minutes. I mean,
to
I
search for
think
all these clues?
it keeps it fun. I think that's good. I think it's good.
Yeah, you have two people moving around. I'm sure that like
Yeah.
if you split up and did it right, you can probably like comb the kitchen in like a minute, then do some digging and investigation.
Yeah, it's not a huge kitchen. Like that kitchen was probably like 225 square feet, like 15 by 15, maybe. You know, like that's fine.
All
I
right.
think it's
This
good.
question we haven't used in a long time, and I don't really know exactly why we dropped it.
It
But
definitely would have been better if they're naked.
no,
100%.
Yeah.
what's the production schedule of this show?
Yeah. You know what? I was thinking about that too when we were watching the show. Um, because these cooks, like, it takes time, right? So it's probably like an episode a day.
Well, yeah, I mean this one was like they had 2 hours for the first bake, and then I don't know, and maybe I don't know if they had an hour for the second one.
It was something like that. I can't recall, but yeah, ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet with like all the other like cuts and stuff like that, it's probably like one episode a day.
Yeah.
So there's 10 episodes. So what do you think? 10 days? I feel like 2 weeks makes sense.
2 weeks.
Monday,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Monday to
give some break
Friday.
days.
2 solid weeks, and you probably have like the crew working 4 weeks, right? Like the onset crew, right? Because you need like a week to set up and a week to dismantle. I'm assuming, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I mean we're only talking about Joel McHale's time here. We're not talking about
Yeah. Mhm.
like setup and stuff.
Yeah. We really need like a real producer on this show. We're over 10 years. Like we are in like the top 1% of podcasts. We're in a premium echelon of podcasts. I think we can.
You get on that.
uh,
Get Patrick on
yeah.
the podcast.
Are you guys okay? Yeah, we'll get Patrick. We'll get SpongeBob. We'll get everybody.
No, Patrick.
No,
the
I know
TikTok.
the TikTok guy. I know. I was kidding.
Okay. Make sure the
Um,
audience knows I'm not trying to make a SpongeBob joke.
Yeah. So just for the audience, there's a guy. I forgot his last name. He's a reality show, a former, I think, reality show producer, but he runs a TikTok channel where he dishes like behind the scene and kind of like the nitty gritty details of like how reality TV is made. Patrick,
Patrick on TikTok.
not
Sure you
Mahomes, not Star.
Yeah. So I forget where we were. We were talking about practice schedule. Talk 2 weeks.
Production. Yeah.
I don't know if there's any like real reason to talk too much about the actual like crime scenes we saw. Like, you know, this
Nah.
is where it really gets to me. Is like, okay, somebody made lemon
Yeah.
bars, they were safe, and then
Mhm.
somebody correctly made the right bun cake, but some people didn't get two. So there's like 3 or 4 ingredients, and
Yeah.
and 2 teams missed 2. So there was like a tiebreaker, and somebody got kicked off.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
I guess the only interesting to note about these is there's 2 teams. There's two
Oh
sets of
yeah.
people, and
Hmm.
one set is family, one set is friends. So like all the pairs are family, and then there's like another set of like 4 or 5 that are friends, which I
Yeah.
thought was kind of compelling.
I mean, it was interesting, but they definitely didn't talk about it too much. Like they made some like one-offs, but it was not like, oh, who's gonna kick off who and like create tribes and like they can work against each other. It was just like a weird side fact.
I don't know. I feel like it's a pretty positive show. I don't think there's going to be any like tribal. Like I don't think there's any going to be any alliances.
Yeah, but then it's like, what's the? I don't know. To me, when they were teeing up, it's like friends and family. It's like most reality show. It's like friends versus family. Like who's the better thing, and you have to prove out for your identity. Like I don't know. Otherwise, it's just like we brought people along. Obviously, they're friends or family to a certain degree. Like they know each other, So it's like you can call them colleagues, I guess, but somehow you know them.
Yeah, I just think that like by the end of this, you can be on team. The team is team friends or team family.
Yeah,
Teams have been chosen for you.
yeah. Well, we saw how that worked. Teams chosen for you week before. Remember the outrageous pumpkins? Just show
Uh,
up. You're paired with this person. Good luck.
oh
Figure
yeah,
it out.
yeah. It would be nice if it was like they took the teams and split them and
Yeah.
swap them with other people, so you could have like your niece on the other team and you get to go against them.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be kind of neat.
Who is the worst human being?
Hmm. Um.
Joel McHale, be more funny.
Whoa, coming in hot.
I mean, realistically, that's the only thing I can think of. Everybody else is kind of nice, and even he was kind of nice.
Joel. I don't know. I think the son, maybe. I feel like he like screwed up a bit. You know, that team mom son. I feel like the son like didn't have his act together a little bit, but
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna
he's like
go
not
with
bad. But
I'm gonna go with Joel. He making some weak jokes in this show.
man,
Some weak jokes.
he's like a fellow Seattleiter. Man, just throwing him under the bus.
I mean, sometimes you gotta tell people how real. You gotta be real. See,
Man,
Brian and I real. You, Noah,
clearly.
not real.
No, I gotta protect my own.
Brian and I, tight butthole. You, very loose butthole.
I mean, it goes back to nipples, but
Yeah, race sore nipples.
that's why you got a tight butthole, man. I'm telling you, your nipples are too wrenched.
No, your nipples are too wrenched. That's why you've got
I already
sore
said this.
nipples.
I was empathizing.
No,
I was
you
never talking.
weren't. You know how English works. Would this show be better as a Quibi or TikTok? So, AKA, is Dismantled better than this show?
I can't say it would be better as a Quibi. I can't see any way where I shorten this and it makes a better show. Like even trying to like take one of these clips out, no.
I'm just like, so Dismantled was kind of funny because the things they did like it was so ridiculously hard that it was kind of funny, but it was so ridiculously hard that like no one could make the thing that they like splattered against the wall. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this show's probably better. I think it's still on the air, so people have chosen by watching one over the other.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, that's all the same thing. Like the people have spoken, regardless if we disagree with the people. America has told us what they want.
America's told us that we're on the wrong side of America, apparently.
Apparently.
Sorry to bring modern day into this. It's tough. It's tough out
Modern
there.
day. Dude, Crime Scene
Modern
Kitchen is modern day. Like,
dude, my Crime Scene Kitchen is an escape from reality.
we have the crime scene.
It's not in reality, Noah. Like we're being real here.
Mm,
Real, once could be a fluke. Twice, apparently I need to start being more racist. I don't know.
pretty much, man.
All right. What should we do now? Max is in here. We can't ask him how fast he watched the show. Max,
How fast do we think we would have watched the show?
how dare you?
Damn.
We can do drinking rules. That's
Ooh,
fun.
drinking rules.
Anytime somebody messes up, like an egg falls on the floor, or they're like, "Oh,
Mm,
don't do that," take a drink.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yeah.
what do you got for me? What do you got?
No? Finish your drink every time one of the dishes actually has alcohol in it. I think it might be more common than you think.
Noah,
Yeah,
what do you got?
Yeah, take a drink every time the judges say, if you made the right dish, you move on to the next round.
I think you should pick a couple or a pair in this scenario, and if they win, you get to give out drinks, and if they lose, you take drinks. You take a drink.
Nice.
So you can like pick the dish that you think that it is, and like you live or die by the dish. Like that's like playing the show. That's what they want you to do.
Mhm.
So you gotta pick like I'm gonna pick Joe and Bob for 10, and if you lose, you got to drink 10 drinks, or you get to give out 10 drinks.
Yeah.
Perfect drinking rule. All right. What do you love about the show, Brian? What do you love?
I like that we can play along too. Like we're kind of seeing this stuff and it's like, oh, what can actually be constructed from this? And you're going to learn a little bit too, because they'll explain some things like, oh, here's the easy stuff for a bunk cake. Whatever. Now I know that.
Noah, what do you got? What do you love about this show?
I think the show had quite good pacing. I agree with Brian, like get to play along too. Although I thought in episode 1, like they were kind of tipping their hand quite a bit. But yes, like that's very fun. And that's about it.
I can reiterate a little bit of what Brian said is you can play along, but you also like the people that get eliminated of how well they like guessed, and you get to guess that too, versus like a normal cooking show where you get eliminated based on taste, which like that is irrelevant to my whole experience of watching the show that you're watching, because you can't taste it and you just so that's what I love about the show. All right, so we do a ranking system, a stack ranking between top, middle, and bottom third. Brian, what do you got for me?
This is tough. I think I'm going to have to put it in the top of the middle. It barely isn't on the top just because there's like a lot of parts where I was like, I can just go do something else. But I was genuinely interested during the investigation piece, and the cooking kind of happened fast enough, but it kind of happened fast, but maybe not fast enough.
Noah, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I think it's a solid top middle. Like I'm pretty close to Brian on this. I'm gonna slot it in top of the middle because I think this was more enjoyable than a solid middle show. Where a solid middle show, it's like go in, go out. And I think this had a little more to it. If it was on, I wouldn't be upset. Am I going to go binge it? Oh, of course not. Joe McHale, if he's in anything, right, it's great. If you find Joe McHale in your garbage, you're going to be happier. Even though he's in your garbage, you take him out of there. You don't want to throw him out, but you'd be happier. And I think this is a format they can play around with, get pretty inventive. Clearly, they have. So, top of the middle. Christopher Lorenz, tell us what you got.
I just want to say that I really raised my eyebrow when you said that Joel McHale is good in anything. And we just watched the show where he wasn't good. Like, I'm just like,
I like it. You see, I think Brian got it right. It's like you're getting a known commodity.
Like, he wasn't good.
Well, that's right. I think he's good. I think he's a good guy.
We can agree to disagree. Okay, that's fine.
Good guy.
I'm surprised that, like, I'm gonna go middle third, but I thought you guys would love this show. Like, I like in terms of its cooking. So I feel like you've got to be like the best cooking show ever in the world to get you in the top, me to put it in a top third. Because, like, what's interesting to me is watching the crime scene kitchen and then kind of like personally guessing. And then it's just like fluff for the next like 15 minutes until you get to like what it was. And it's like, I don't really care like watching you make these things. I'm never like, it's kind of interesting the judges judge it. But like, other than that, like, yeah, cut this down to Quibi length and maybe we talking.
Quibbit. Yeah.
Just like not gross through a cannon, crime scene. Or like it'd be fun if you could like if it was like a game, like because then you're like more involved. Like you can
what
go
do you
in.
mean? It is a game. Like
I'm saying, like you personally like play like a video game. Where you like go into the kitchen for 2 minutes and you try to figure out what it is, and then you like, oh, I think it's this, and then you guess it,
Yeah.
Then it's over in like 60 seconds and you're good. Like that would be a top third show. Like,
yeah, that'd be cool.
It's like cut out the cruft.
No
like,
cruft.
But that would like not make any money on TV, right? Like like a 5-minute show that takes, significant amount of time to set up and money.
Yeah.
So, but the prize is pretty low. I mean, like, what's up with all these low prizes? 100,000?
Man, inflation.
Yeah.
I mean, if the production schedule's 2 weeks, not terrible.
I mean, Survivor's barely more. It's like double that. It's $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's definitely more than like a month. Oh, wait. Oh,
it's 26. Yeah. Well, it's like a month. It's 40 days, I think. 41 days or something. Something like that. Which could be even less now. I don't know. Anyway, that's what we thought about the show. Tell us what you thought about the show at Who Put This On. Tell us. An X. Should we get on this Blue Sky? Or this, what we got, these threads? We got a thread, right?
I use threads, but I mean, obviously I'm a little biased, but
we have Who Put This On threads?
We don't have an Instagram.
Yeah, we do.
You do?
Yeah.
What do you look? Don't give us that look, dude.
I always just remember get us at facebook.com and Gmail.
Yeah, because I don't personally check the Instagram, but we have it.
So I don't think you get threads automatically. I think you still have to like say yes.
So what you're saying is that there's somebody that's been stealing the Who Put This On handle. And that's sometimes we would be the Who Put This On podcast.
Could be.
So
I mean
Brian, get on that. Get our thread.
Like all the newer, like so like what is it? Blue Sky, Mastodon, Threads, like I'm pretty sure they're all connected in the Fediverse. So like you sign up on one, right? And you can publish to all and you can intake posts from all. So it's more of then it's like what interface you want to interact with.
I think this is why Trump won. You're just nerd talking to me right now. I'm not having
nerd
talk. I'm not taking these nerd talk anymore.
Nerds.
Soon you're gonna sexually assault people like in Revenge of the Nerds.
What? I don't remember that part of the movie. It could have happened.
What do you mean? You don't remember the part of the movie where like one of the guys is like, one of the girls
Booger?
goes into the room and thinks it's her boyfriend, but it's really one of the nerds.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I remember
And
that
what about when they go into and they panty raid and steal the women's panties? Like that's not sexual assault, but like that's no good.
No,
No.
doesn't sound good.
It's a very problematic movie in the year 2024.
Yeah, I guess people want to go back to the America of old.
Yeah, that's when America was great. When you could
Shaking
panty
my
raid.
head, shaking my head.
When you
People can't
could,
see shaking head, so I need to make sure I audibly, you know, call
everyone knows I'm wearing my MAGA hat.
out. MAGA Chris.
Dark MAGA.
Man, I saw a guy
I'm
at
more
the
of a dark
airport.
Brandon person myself.
Brandon. Man, got clever past that. Brandon.
Brian, you have any shout outs this week of other stuff you've been watching?
Not particularly. I'm just kind of trying to catch up with Taskmaster. I have not had a lot of time lately, but it's been really, really solid this season.
Where your time going? Where your time going?
Just been busy, man. Like work is hella busy.
Hella. What year are we in? You just said hella.
I mean, is it a year or like people in California said that? Hella.
I'm West Coast now. It's fine.
People in Seattle don't say hella.
California.
Why are you trying to tell me what I can do and can't do?
Let's fight about it. Let's go. Let's go.
Right.
Oh, put him up. Brian, did you know that Taskmaster Australia just like kept rolling?
Yeah, I also have I've been downloading those because they're not legally obtainable and they're on the back burner. But yeah, that's why I want to catch up on this stuff.
I'm still on season 2, but it's good. Taskmaster is good. Good show. Goat. It's a goat show. Noah, any shout outs, Noah?
Beverly and I are watching the show called Disclaimer. I probably shot it out because it's like a weekly drop, so it's a pretty slow roll. Very sexually explicit, but it's on Apple, and it's an Alfonso Cuarón. I don't know how to say his name. Cuarón, produced, written, directed. I don't know if all of them, but it's basically his picture. It's relatively entertaining. Definitely like a deep character drama. Otherwise, nothing really terribly new, unfortunately.
I've been watching this show called Kevin Can F Himself.
Oh yeah.
Did I shout this out already?
No, I watched a few episodes of that.
Same.
Yeah, Sega. It's an interesting show. They Netflix calls it a dark comedy, and it kind of starts. So I was trying to figure out what the fuck a dark comedy is, because I'm like, some dark comedies I like a lot, I don't. Especially if somebody tells me to watch it because it's a dark comedy, I'm like, probably not. Like I watched Banshees of Inisherin, and people tell me it's like a dark comedy. I'm like, all right, well, if you think that's funny, I don't think that's funny in any way. Anyway, back to this show is like the sitcom parts I think are legit really funny, but then the gimmick is that when there's a wife and the husband, and whenever the husband is on scene in the scene, it's like a sitcom. Whenever it's just the wife, it's like a drama, and like the drama is really, really dark. It's a dark drama. So it's like comedy with a sitcom and then a dark drama. And then the dark drama just keeps taking over and over and over. And like, I personally am really enjoying the show. Like, cause it's like, it feels very human to be just kind of down and out and trying to deal with that in your life. And this is doing a pretty good job of that. But like, is that something I recommend people to like, hey, if you're in a dark place and you know how to
Uh,
follow this person along, it's a good show. But like she like at some point, slight spoilers, like decides that she's gonna try to kill the husband, and like there's a lot of fallout from that. That's just like not good. And
yeah.
I could definitely see it's dropping the show, but I'm enjoying it. It's kind of it's got the person from she's
Schitt's
in a
Creek.
pod, Schitt's Creek. Yeah, it's good.
Annie from Schitt's Creek. She's Canadian. Canadian.
And then the other shout out I have is one Noah recommended to me is Cue the Sun, the history of reality television.
Yeah.
I got it from the library after like 3 or 4 months or 5 months since you recommended it. Picked it up. It's definitely interesting. We got to do candid camera. I think we got to find like even maybe we should do a candid radio
I would say, can a microphone or can it
microphone or whatever it is.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of it's kind of interesting that they put like talk radio as an inspiration for reality shows, which it is, but I never really thought about talk radio not being what radio is. Like at some point, obviously, radio's been around since like 1915, 1920s. There was no telephones at that time, so obviously there was no talk radio. So like, I guess that's right. At some point, somebody invented talk radio.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's like a free form. Yeah. It's kind of interesting to see like the lineage, right? And how this all kind of morphed together. And it was always treated as like the second class art form. It's like, yeah, you guys might be making money, but it's trash. Like, don't come mess around with us.
Yeah. I haven't gotten that far yet.
Mm.
Anyway, that's it for us this week. You can find us on Twitter at whowiththeson. You can find us on Facebook.com/whowiththeson. You can email us questions and suggestions at whowiththeson@gmail.com. You can
What
find
about
us
Instagram? Instagram.
I was about to say you can also find us on Instagram at whowiththeson, maybe whowiththeson podcast. I don't know. We're also on TikTok at whowiththeson podcast. Where else are we, Brian?
OnlyFans?
I think we have a YouTube with no videos on it if you want to find that.
Are we on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I think we have that.
I think
We'll
so.
make some great posts there.
Pinterest.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about next week's show quick or no?
Yeah.
So
we had one teed up.
yeah. I feel like we should do this. Well, so I was talking to Harrison and Annabeth, sometimes hosts of the show, and they said they wanted to be on the show for the summit. So we can check with them if they can do the summit, when they can do that. So we'll do that when they can do it. And then if they can't do it,
Roller Jam, I think, is next week, and then Love Village.
we can do Roller Jam. Let's do Roller Jam.
Yeah, it looks great.
Next week, or the summit. One of those two will be next week's.
Harrison, Annabeth, we will cater to your schedule. We are that accommodating.
We're nice people.
Yeah. You don't even have to buy our Cameo. That said, go to cameo.com/who put this on, and you can pay for us to speak to.
The cheapest Cameo you'll ever find. Or is it the most expensive? Because I don't think any of us want to do it.
Yeah.
I wonder what the bar is to become a Cameo person.
Yeah. Do you have to be reached out, or is it like a Hollywood Hall of Fame star thing where you just pay for it?
Man, I wonder. Well, let's go find out. How do I become a Cameo person?
All right. You could find out the result of that on Cameo. And we'll see you guys next time.